Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? My name is Dr. Clarence, and welcome back to TV7 Live, where we get to give you all the hottest and top trending topics, broadcasting live and direct from Zimbabwe, Africa. So, guys, today, Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu appeared before the court, and they have been remanded again in custody to the 1st of July 2024. However, in this video, we're going to be looking at the details surrounding their case and why these guys will get only $2,000 fine. They will get a $2,000 fine, nothing more than that. Remember the charges these guys are facing, so we're going to be looking into the exact charges that these guys are facing. Now, late yesterday, Passion Java made this post. Round 1, Mike 0 versus Chivhayo. Are we going to be seeing a round 2 coming here? All right, so we're just going to be looking into the details. What are the charges leveled against Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu? Mosha vari kutongerwa ndechii Mike Chimombe na Moses Mpofu, so we can get an insight kuti mosha yachona in a sentence yakakura sei. Now, the charges that these guys are facing is actually fraud. Anyways, so we're going to start with what is in the court. The National Prosecuting Authority of Zimbabwe provided significant update on the ongoing bail proceedings for Mike Chimombe, age 43, and Moses Mpofu, age 49. The case involving allegations of fraud and corruption linked to the presidential growth scheme has drawn considerable attention. Now, the allegations and evidence. The allegations are like this. These are the allegations against these guys, the allegations leveled on these guys. Mike Chimombe and Moses Mpofu are accused of forging critical documents, including a ZIMRA tax clearance certificate and a NASA compliance certificate purportedly belonging to Black Deck Private Limited. The forged documents were allegedly submitted to the Ministry of Lands, Water, Agriculture, Fisheries and Rural Development as part of a tender application for the highly scrutinized presidential growth pass-on scheme. Bear with me on that background noise, guys. There is no electricity, so I'm using an inverter, so the fan is very loud. So these guys are facing the charges of fraud. Remember, their contract had been cancelled, right? Remember, their contract had been cancelled. So now they are facing the charges of fraud. Fraud chete yekuforja ma document. That is the only case that they are facing. No other case are these guys facing. Fraud in regards to their forgery of the documents. This is according also to this memorandum released by Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission. In the beginning, it was accused that they were paid 40 million, right? These details are around nyaya ye fraud. Zokutima amounts are anabasta. Now, when the contract was cancelled, them getting back their money is highly unlikely, right? There are two cases. When a contract is obtained in a fraudulent way, it can either be null and void or it can be voidable, right? Where the victim chooses to pursue what they lost or to choose to continue with the contract. But when the contract is null and void, it means my conditions ese are per contract are null and void. As nene ndiana cancel a contract. When the contract is cancelled, it is null and void. Everything that was on the contract also becomes null and void. So here we're seeing that further investigations established that on 21 April 2022 and 29 June 2022, Ministry of Lands transferred a total of 1.6 billion. That is Zim dollars also, or US $7.7 million. Right? So they tracked to the bank account, that is the ZEC. They did all the tracking. Of course, we're seeing these guys not yet given bail. The issue of bail does not matter. So we're going to take a look into the laws of Zimbabwe right about now. So these are the investigative findings, misrepresentation and financial transactions, and then legal proceedings and bail hearings, right? During yesterday's bail hearing, the state presented key evidence from the investigating officer. The bail hearing continued today, and they were remanded in custody to 1 July. Given the severity of the allegation and the potential flight risk, we are urging the courts to deny bail until the full extent of the investigation is completed. That was the prosecuting authority. Public Relations and Black Deck's defense. In response to the allegation, Black Deck Limited has issued a statement categorically denying involvement in fraudulent activities. They clarified their role in financial dealings, emphasizing transparency and compliance. Their statement says, we categorically deny these allegations. All funds received were used for the procurement and maintenance of the goods as per contract terms. We urge the authorities to thoroughly investigate and verify all documentation. Previous clarifications. This development follows Black Deck's earlier statement, which refuted claims by Nick Mangwana and the Zimbabwe Anti-Corruption Commission that Mike Mpofu had officially received 40 million. So Mike Mpofu did not receive 40 million, but a 7.5 million equivalent, right? Anyways, that does not matter right about now what amount they received. If we look at the criminal law codification here in Zimbabwe, under fraud, any person who makes a misrepresentation intending to deceive another person or realizing that there's real risk or possibility of deceiving another person, intending to cause another person to act upon misrepresentation, then Mutongo is a fine not exceeding level 14 or twice the value of the property obtained by him or her as a result of the crime. Imprisonment for a prison not exceeding 35 years. Now, what determines imprisonment is the circumstances surrounding the case. What circumstances are surrounding the case? That is what determines kuti munhu achapinda mujeri here kana kuti haasi kupinda mujeri. Now, there's a contract involved. There's a contract. Whatever happened there is based on the contract. Akachikora mutemo wenyika pakuita misrepresentation, overall akaita fraud. Right? Contract, restitution, zvekudzosera mari. Right? Ndezvimwewo. Now, in justice, mitemo inofanana. Justice means equality. So, ma rates ema fines emu Zimbabwe akamira sei. All right. My levels not exceeding level 14. So standard scale of fines in Zimbabwe, we see level 1 is $5. Level 14, these guys can be fined a fine not exceeding level 14. Level 14 is $5,000, right? But why will they get leveled core fine? Leveled core fine, according to another law in Zimbabwe, where customs, right? False invoices, false representation, and forgery is leveled off with a fine of 2,000. because mutemo wemunyika mumwe chete it will remain the same. Forgery imwe chete. So that is level 12. They will get a level 12 fine of $2,000. And if the contract is already cancelled as alleged by some reports, it is now and void. They cannot claim restitution. They cannot get back their money unless it is voidable. Voidable is different from null and void. If it's cancelled, it's null and void. The victim will then have to sue these guys. So, these guys, mosha yavari kufesa aisiye kuti havana kuendesa mbudzi mukoti. Hongu, it's alleged that they did not deliver all the goats, but that is not the case that is before the courts. The case that is before the courts is a case fraud. The case that is before the court is a fraud case, nothing else. Big up to everybody who is watching us live right now. To those watching us live right now, you can write your comments in the top chat, in the super chat. That's how I can see your names, so I can give you my shout outs. So these guys have been remanded further in custody. So obviously, court zako is general procedure to be giving people this to remand people in custody before vazopuwa bail kana vachipuwa bail kana vasingapuwe. Okay, there are other stories that are claiming these guys all along they had been in Zimbabwe, but those are just claims, right? Are they flight risk? There's a story that these guys were actually looked for vakaita kunobatwa but havana kubatwa because the case yemavideo vakashuta is then presented in the court kuti yakakonzeresa despondency munyika and cited as one of the reasons why these guys should not be given bail. So vakaenda vega. On that, it shows that they are not flight risks. However, for public interest and for the interest of the nation, kuti munyika musanyanya kuti noise, we will see them vachanyimwa bail, and this case may be waited on for it to die down. Now, yesterday, there was another explosive leak. Big up to expert carpenters, Say, and Tiripondope Dupano. Thank you very much for your support. And Stanford Makwengere says, vanoda kuwachenesa avasungwe vakomana ava. So the case is that, yes, of course, if something goes through a legal process, ukabatwa, cannot ukasabatwa, inenge yatoenda through a legal process, it will be through. If the contract was cancelled, getting back the money will be very, very difficult. It will be very difficult and very, very tricky. Now, there is another story we saw yesterday involving the Zimbabwe Election Commission, Zimbabwe Electoral Commission. It is said that Zimbabwe Electoral Commission paid US 5.4 million for fancy V11 display boxes that it never used. Now, this money was paid to the infamous company called Renform. And so far, the transactions paid to Renform, a South African company, are now totaling over $100 million. Now, what are these V11 display boxes? If you see these things, guys, you actually be shocked. These are the boxes. This is what they look like. angori anenge mapicture frame anenge light kumashure, so that bepa rev11 kana ranyorwa nemaoko pabepa parinopostwa kumamisha vanhu vakwanise kuona manhere because kune kuine light kuseri kwebepa. I think ungotenga malights achona would actually have been cheaper kana ungotenga ma-TV to display these results, right? But anyways, these things did not arrive by election date. Now we wonder, were these things being purchased for the election, or it was an opportunity to make money? And again, we are seeing leaked documents concerning this. Leaked documents on this. Okay, this one is one from earlier on, where these guys purchased portable toilets costing $3,800 each, a total of $7.6 million, and this didn't arrive. Imagine, priced at $3,800. Kuti one portable toilet, non-flushable, inotenga 2 ma-aqua. Imagine, right? Then my reflective vest charged at $13.50, and they bought a total of $3.6 million. This actually cost 50 cents to a maximum of $3 on Alibaba.com. Shipping is very cheap. All right, this is the transfer. Commercial Bank of Zimbabwe. So this is actually a SWIFT transfer, which is international. Then the invoice. All right, let me just reopen the invoice. Enough respect to everybody who is watching us live right about now. The particular invoice that notes this 5.4. So far, there's the receipt. This is the light box. Voter results transmission devices. Unit price $319 and a total of 4.7. A total of 4.7 here. Office of the President and Cabinet, that's where it is invoiced to. Enough respect to everybody who is watching us live right about now. So this is another expose. Here we are seeing this one was released by zimlive.com. Zimlive.com, right? So it's 4.7 for these. Then we are seeing the receipts, the evidence, everything there. Again, we saw the invoices for the toilets. Now, these